The Atlantic stretches endlessly, a vast expanse of dark water whose surface is fractured by the restless hand of the wind. Twilight covers the ocean with a mantle of muted blues and silver, while the horizon dissolves into shadow. The waves, enormous and unyielding, rise and fall with a rhythm older than human memory, crashing against invisible currents and jagged reefs hidden beneath them. The air is thick with salt and the electric tension of approaching storms, and each lightning strike illuminates the restless waters like nature's own spotlight. This is a living world of purpose and danger. The Atlantic breathes with the pulse of life that has thrived here for millennia, a stage set equally for survival and the relentless law of predation. Beneath the rolling waves, unseen hunters glide with lethal precision, bodies perfected by evolution for speed, strength, and cunning. The apex predators of this aquatic realm are moving shadows. Sharks silently cutting through the depths, their dorsal fins slicing the surface like sharpened blades. Pods of orcas moving with coordinated intelligence, crossing the horizon in search of prey, colossal squids, elusive and mysterious, whose tentacles sweep the depths in search of food, and predatory fish, sleek and relentless, darting through the currents with sudden, precise bursts of speed. Aerial views reveal the immense scale of this domain, where a single predator can travel leagues of open ocean with barely a ripple disturbing the surface. Lightning arcs across the sky, illuminating a fin, a tail, a silhouette briefly traced in brilliance before disappearing once more into the endless blue. Each flash exposes the fragile tension between hunter and prey, life and death, motion and stillness. The surface of the Atlantic is a stage, its depths a hidden labyrinth, and every creature here plays a role in the eternal dance of survival. Yet, for all its ferocity, the ocean has order. Every shadow has a purpose, every predator a master of its niche. Sharks patrol with stoic authority, sensing the faintest vibrations in the water. Orcas devise strategies with an intelligence that rivals that of any land predator, hunting in synchronized groups that reflect the precision of a well-trained battalion. In the deepest reaches, giant squids and other abyssal hunters move in silence, unseen yet ever present, a reminder that the ocean is both cradle and crucible of life. Here survival is absolute, a daily testament to the endurance of the strongest, the fastest, and the most cunning. This is the Atlantic, a realm of mystery, danger, and incomparable beauty. Its currents carry stories of conquest and survival, whispered through the water and etched into the paths of its hunters. And as the storm roars and the waves rise and fall, one truth becomes undeniable. Every fin, every flash, every shadow tells the same story. Welcome to the Atlantic, the heart of survival in its purest form. Beneath the undulating surface of the Atlantic, a silent war is waged. Predators hunt not only to feed, but for supremacy, testing strength, ingenuity, and instinct in a battle older than memory. Here the lines between hunter and prey blur, and every encounter is a contest of survival executed with lethal precision. The apex predators of the Atlantic, sharks, orcas, swordfish, and giants of the deep, rule their territories with unspoken authority, though none reign without opposition. A pod of orcas cuts through the water with precision that seems almost choreographed. Black and white bodies flash beneath the waves, their fins slicing the surface like unsheathed knives in the dim light. Their target, a great white shark, solitary and immense, gliding through the depths, unaware of the strategy forming above. The orcas surround it, communicating through clicks and whistles, testing, probing, and testing again, until the shark is herded as if it were prey in a vast oceanic game of chess. One miscalculated move, one tail flick too slow, and the predator itself becomes the hunted. Elsewhere in the twilight of the Atlantic's greatest depths, a swordfish cuts at full speed through a shadowy current. Its long, rigid bill glints in the faint light as it senses the approach of a colossal squid. Tentacles, lined with powerful suckers, lash outward, seeking to grasp. The swordfish responds with blinding bursts of speed, turning and zigzagging through the water in a deadly dance, narrowly avoiding the grip of its deep-sea adversary. The squid strikes again and again, but the swordfish's agility and instinct keep it just beyond reach. In these encounters, every fin movement, every flash of teeth, every ripple in the water is a matter of life and death. The hierarchy of the Atlantic food chain is a complex tapestry woven from strength, strategy, and adaptability. Apex predators dominate through size, intelligence, and coordination, but even they must respect the rules of the ocean. Orcas, at the top of many food webs, exploit both strategy and brute force. Great whites dominate coastal hunting grounds with solitary ferocity, and the giants of the deep, unseen by most, rule the abyss with silent and overwhelming power. Mid-level predators, from barracudas to tuna, navigate this realm with speed and cunning, hunting smaller fish while avoiding the shadow of those above. Every species, from the smallest sardine to the greatest predator, has its place, its role, its survival strategy. Close-up shots reveal the terrifying elegance of these hunters, rows of serrated teeth gleaming as they close in the water, fins tracing precise arcs as predators maneuver, tentacles striking with surgical precision. Speed, intelligence, and instinct converge in a choreography both brutal and mesmerizing. Every encounter, whether a shark avoiding an orca, a swordfish evading a squid, or an entire school scattering in panic, is a testament to the relentless pressure of life in the Atlantic. Here, dominance is earned, not given, and the ocean is both arena and judge. In this ever-shifting battlefield, survival belongs to those who are faster, smarter, and more adaptable. And every clash echoes the ancient rhythm of predator and prey, a symphony of life and death beneath the waves of the Atlantic. Beneath the turbulent surface of the Atlantic, a shadow moves with silent purpose. The shark, an ancient predator shaped by millions of years of evolution, glides effortlessly through the water, its streamlined body carving a path of quiet menace. Among the most formidable of these hunters are the great white, the tiger shark, the mako, and the hammerhead, each master of its domain, each a silent stalker of the depths. The great white, a living missile of muscle and teeth, patrols coastal waters with a patience that belies its explosive power. Its black eyes, devoid of hesitation, scan the ocean for movement, detecting the subtle vibrations of a seal breaking the surface. With a sudden burst, it launches from the depths, breaching the water in a display of raw force, teeth gleaming in the sun, body arching in the air before crashing back into the sea. Each hunt is a balance of timing, speed, and precision, a dance of predator and prey measured in seconds. Tiger sharks, often called the scavengers of the sea, move with a different rhythm. Less focused on a single target, they are opportunistic, exploring reefs and shallow waters in search of any meal that crosses their path. Fish, turtles, even the occasional seabird, all are evaluated and, if the opportunity is right, consumed. Their teeth, serrated and curved, are designed to cut through flesh and bone alike, ensuring that nothing escapes once caught. Mako sharks, the speedsters of the ocean, rely on astonishing bursts of velocity. Schools of smaller fish scatter at their approach, a flash of silver against the deep blue, but the Mako closes the distance with terrifying efficiency. Its slender, torpedo-like shape, combined with powerful tail muscles, allows it to chase prey faster than most fish can react. Hunting is not only about speed, but also instinct. Every tail flick, every turn of the head is calculated to optimize the kill. Hammerhead sharks, with their distinctive cephalofoil-shaped heads, traverse the Atlantic with a sensory advantage few others possess. Their widely spaced eyes grant them panoramic vision, while specialized electroreceptors, the ampullae of Lorenzini, detect the faint electrical signals emitted by hidden prey. Beneath sandy seabeds, a buried ray or a squid becomes a signal impossible to conceal. Night hunting transforms these predators into spectral hunters, silhouettes gliding silently through moonlit waters, their senses tuned to even the slightest ripple. Throughout the Atlantic, schools of fish scatter, seals leap from the surface, and squids propel themselves through the water in frantic bursts, all movements tracked and exploited by these apex predators. Sharks have mastered the art of patience, the science of perception, and the efficiency of lethal execution. They are not merely hunters. They are finely tuned instruments of survival, perfected to dominate the food chain with silent authority. In the vast expanse of the Atlantic, survival depends not only on strength, but on strategy, adaptation, and awareness. Every fin that cuts the water, every shadow that glides beneath the waves, carries with it the story of countless generations, a testament to resilience, precision, and the unyielding will to survive. Here, in the silent and dark corridors of the ocean, the shark reigns supreme, a hunter shaped by the very heart of the Atlantic. Across the rolling waves of the Atlantic, black and white forms glide with a grace that contradicts their lethal intent. Orcas, the ocean's supreme strategists, move in tightly bonded groups, each member a vital piece of a machine perfected by evolution. Aerial shots capture their choreography, fins slicing through waves in perfect synchronization, groups encircling, splitting, and regrouping, every movement precise, deliberate, and deadly. The hunt is a study in intelligence. Orcas rarely attack alone. Instead, they employ tactics that resemble a carefully rehearsed military operation. Some groups split into smaller units, surrounding a school of fish with invisible walls of black and white, herding them into ever-tightening spirals. Others ambush from below, rising suddenly in a surge of force, breaking the surface to strike with jaws and brute strength. Even the great white, a solitary titan of the Atlantic, must respect the orca's cunning. Groups have been observed repeatedly ramming sharks, flipping them to immobilize them, and feeding selectively on their livers, a remarkable display of both knowledge and precision. Communication is the lifeblood of the pod. Clicks, whistles, and pulsed calls travel through the water, coordinating movements and transmitting subtle signals that guide hunts. Each group has its own dialect, a unique symphony of sounds that binds family units together. Mothers, fathers, young and elders play distinct roles, teaching the young the art of survival in the challenging expanse of the Atlantic. Social bonds run deep. Orcas care for their young for years, share food, guide hunts, and protect one another from dangers both above and below the waves. Prey varies by region and season. Seals resting on rocky outcrops must evade the strategic ambushes of pods, launching and diving in frantic arcs. Tuna, once fast and elusive, can be encircled by relentless coordination. Even deep-water giants such as sharks are vulnerable to the most organized groups, which exploit knowledge, numbers, and patience to secure the advantage. The imagery captures the tension, a group flanking a school of tuna, fins flashing, water erupting with silver bodies scattering, each moment a carefully measured step towards success. Beyond brute force, it is the orca's intelligence that defines its dominance. Observing, planning, and improvising, they navigate both open waters and coastal labyrinths with a tactical awareness few species can match. Each hunt is a lesson in adaptability. Every maneuver reflects experience, memory, and cooperation. Survival in the Atlantic is not merely a matter of size or speed, it is a test of ingenuity, strategy, and unity. As the sun descends toward the horizon, casting a golden glow across the waves, the pods continue their pursuit, silhouettes gliding silently, yet with purpose. The Atlantic, vast and unpredictable, is both their hunting ground and their home. Here, in a world of currents and shadows, orcas reign not only through brute strength, but through intellect, coordination, and the unbreakable bonds of family. In their wake, every ripple tells a story of strategy, survival, and the extraordinary intelligence of the ocean's most formidable hunters. Beneath the sunlit surface of the Atlantic, the ocean darkens into an abyss, a world untouched by time, where light struggles to penetrate and life has adapted to extremes that would crush any surface-dwelling creature. Here, in the cold and crushing depths, dwell the giants of the deep, enigmatic predators that glide through the shadowy waters with a combination of stealth, power, and mystery. The colossal squid, with eyes larger than dinner plates, drifts silently, its 8 arms lined with rotating hooks and 2 elongated feeding tentacles, ready to seize any unsuspecting prey. Giant squids, rarely seen by human eyes, dominate this realm with an otherworldly presence, their reddish-brown bodies blending seamlessly into the near-total darkness of the mesopelagic zone. Aerial and underwater footage reveals glimpses of these creatures in motion, tentacles curling and lashing, bioluminescent patches flickering in ghostly patterns, illuminating their surroundings with eerie and hypnotic glows. The faint flashes of light serve multiple purposes: communication, camouflage, and, most crucially, the attraction of prey. Small fish, drawn to the soft, intermittent illumination, become unwitting targets, swimming directly into the predator's reach. Each capture is precise, almost surgical, with tentacles that wrap, tighten, and immobilize before the victim can react. Observing these giants is rare, making them some of the ocean's most mysterious inhabitants. Their hunting grounds stretch across hundreds of meters of dark, open water, inaccessible to sunlight, and challenging even for the most sophisticated human technology. Cameras and high-pressure resistant submersibles offer fleeting glimpses, but even these advanced instruments struggle to fully capture the elegance and brutality of deep-sea predation. The unpredictability of these encounters, the vastness of the abyss, and the near invisibility of these hunters make every sighting a moment of awe, a reminder of how much of the Atlantic remains unmapped and unknowable. Survival here demands extraordinary adaptations. The pressure at these depths can exceed 1,000 times the weight of air at sea level, and yet the bodies of deep-sea giants are designed to withstand it. Flexible cartilage replaces rigid bone, allowing movement without structural failure. Enzymes and cell membranes are uniquely adapted to cold and dark environments, enabling metabolism to continue where other life would falter. Even hunting techniques reflect these extreme conditions. A giant squid may lie in wait, almost motionless, before striking with sudden bursts of speed, using jet propulsion to close the distance with its prey in a flash of muscular power. Giant fish also patrol these depths: vampire squids, fang-tooth fish, and the occasional deep-sea shark. Their adaptations are equally remarkable. Enlarged eyes capture the faintest light, bioluminescent lures attract curious prey, and sensory organs detect vibrations across meters of water. In a place where food is scarce and encounters with other predators can be fatal, every movement is calculated, every decision the product of millions of years of evolutionary trial and error. The interaction between predator and prey here is subtle yet intense. Tentacles entangle, eyes focus, and currents carry signals invisible to the untrained observer. In these silent, blackened waters, life has evolved in extraordinary ways, each species a testament to survival under impossible conditions. The giants of the Atlantic depths are more than hunters. They are symbols of the unknown, of the vastness of the ocean, and of the extreme resilience of life itself. In the abyss, time slows, and yet every encounter is critical, every strike decisive. The dark heart of the Atlantic pulses with a life that humbles and terrifies, reminding us that even in the most hidden corners of the planet, survival is a relentless and inspiring struggle. Beneath the restless surface of the Atlantic, a different kind of predator reigns, not the solitary power of the shark, nor the strategic precision of the orca, but the swift and opportunistic hunters of the mid-ocean, barracudas and tunas. Sleek, muscular, and driven by hunger, these predators are the embodiment of speed, agility, and instinct, moving through the water with a fluidity that belies the violence they unleash. Barracudas, long and torpedo-shaped, cut through schools of smaller fish with sudden bursts of acceleration. Their silver bodies flash in the dappled light, eyes fixed and teeth gleaming like blades as they navigate the shoal. The attack is a blur, a coordinated strike with impeccable timing. Each predator positions itself with precision, exploiting gaps in the formation, forcing prey into panic, confusion, and ultimately capture. The school reacts as one, a living cloud of silver, turning and twisting to evade closing jaws. Every ripple in the water is an informational signal. Every shift in the school a test of reflexes, anticipation, and survival. Tunas, equally formidable, move with a combination of endurance and explosive bursts of speed. Their streamlined bodies and crescent-shaped tails allow for both long migrations and sudden attacks. Unlike surface ambush predators, tunas are endurance hunters pursuing prey across vast stretches of the Atlantic. The footage captures the elegance of a mid-water chase. Schools of small fish scattering in perfect synchronization as the tunas close in, their sleek bodies tracing arcs through the water, fins slicing cleanly through sunlit waves. Mid-level predators themselves must constantly navigate under the shadow of apex hunters. Orcas, sharks, and even larger groups of tuna exert constant pressure on their behavior, shaping movement patterns, hunting schedules, and habitat selection. Barracudas adapt by hunting near reefs or structures where ambush opportunities exist, minimizing exposure. Tunas adjust their routes, diving deeper when threats approach, using the temperature and currents of the Atlantic to their advantage. Every choice is a matter of life or death. Migration is central to the life of the open ocean predator. Tunas travel thousands of miles each year, following nutrient-rich currents and schools of smaller fish. The Gulf Stream and other Atlantic currents act as both highway and hunting ground, channeling prey into predictable routes. Along these migratory paths, predators and prey engage in a constant game of cat and mouse. Schools of sardines, mackerel, and small pelagic fish must navigate the dual pressures of predation from above and below, while barracudas and tunas exploit every opportunity presented by the currents and the formations of the schools. Close-up footage emphasizes the intensity of these encounters. The water erupts when a barracuda strikes. A tuna pivots mid-chase, pursuing a fleeing fish with precision. Light flickers across scales, creating flashes of silver and blue as predators and prey react in a dance choreographed by the instinct for survival. The ocean, though vast, becomes a theater of immediacy, where speed, perception, and coordination determine the fate of all involved. The Atlantic's mid-level predators are masters of adaptation. They balance aggression with caution, speed with endurance, and opportunity with strategy. They are both hunters and hunted, thriving in the space between the giants above and the prey below. In their movements, we see the pulse of the ocean itself, relentless, dynamic, and unforgiving. In this intermediate world, survival is an intricate game of perception, agility, and synchronization, a constant reminder that in the Atlantic, no creature exists without consequence, and every ripple carries the weight of life and death. Beneath the undulating surface of the Atlantic, life exists in a constant state of tension. For every predator that cuts through the water with lethal intent, there is a prey species whose survival depends on vigilance, speed, and coordination. Sardines, mackerel, small pelagic fish, and even sea turtles inhabit this realm, living on alert, each of their movements dictated by the rhythms of the predator and the interactions between predator and prey. Sardines, small and silver, form vast schools that shimmer like liquid metal under the Atlantic sun. Seen from above, the patterns are mesmerizing. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of individual fish moving as a single cohesive entity. Their tight formations are not just visual poetry, they are survival. Each sardine mirrors the movements of its neighbors, a synchronized ballet that confuses predators. When a barracuda charges into the school, or a tuna slices through from below, the sardines react instantly, turning, twisting, and creating a vortex of flashes and ripples. The school moves as a single organism, making it nearly impossible for a predator to isolate a single target. Mackerel, slightly larger and faster, employ a combination of schooling and sheer agility. Their bodies are built for bursts of speed, allowing rapid evasion in open waters. They dart through Atlantic currents, rushing toward underwater structures, whirlpools, and reefs when danger approaches. Their survival depends on constant vigilance. Even the faintest ripple or shadow can trigger a sudden and coordinated escape. For these fish, hesitation is fatal. Small pelagic fish rely not only on speed, but also on camouflage and habitat selection. Many adopt countershading, with dark dorsal surfaces that blend with the deep ocean and lighter undersides that match the sunlit waters above, making detection by predators significantly more difficult. They also use vertical movement, shifting to different depths to avoid those that hunt from above or below. Each choice is a balance between accessing nutrients and avoiding becoming a meal, a daily calculation dictated by instinct and experience. Even sea turtles, slower and less agile than fish, have developed strategies to survive in this predator-rich environment. Juveniles often remain near floating vegetation or shallow coastal areas where visibility is limited and maneuverability is greater. Adults travel vast stretches of open water, using both speed and unpredictability to evade sharks and other hunters. Their hard shells provide protection, and yet their survival still depends on awareness, timing, and evasion. The role of prey species goes beyond their own survival. They sustain the entire population of Atlantic predators. Sardines feed tunas, mackerel drive barracudas, and small fish support sharks, orcas, and seabirds alike. The health, abundance, and behavior of prey species directly shape the dynamics of ocean predators. Without these intricate populations, the delicate balance of the food chain would collapse, leaving top hunters without the fuel necessary to survive. The footage captures the drama. Silver flashes darting through sunlit waves, frantic spirals of fish evading relentless predators, and the occasional burst of a turtle escaping jaws that snap just centimeters away. Patterns emerge amid the chaos, revealing a hidden logic, a rhythm of life governed by instinct, timing, and cooperation. In the Atlantic, survival is never guaranteed. For prey species, it is a constant negotiation with danger, a perpetual dance of evasion, adaptation, and awareness. Each school, each fleeting shadow, each escape informs the next, creating a living tapestry of resilience. And in these flashes of silver, in these agile maneuvers, we witness the lifeblood of the ocean itself, the creatures whose vigilance and determination allow predators to thrive, and whose very existence shapes the pulse of the Atlantic. Above the restless Atlantic, the air is alive with motion. Wings beat against the wind, and salt-laden spray as seabirds, albatrosses, shearwaters, and gannets patrol the ocean from heights that offer both perspective and advantage. From above, they are masters of observation, scanning the surface for the slightest glint of fish, the faintest movement that betrays the presence of prey below. Their hunting grounds stretch for hundreds of miles, an endless highway of sky and sea, where every dive and every sweep is a calculated measure of survival. Albatrosses, with wingspans exceeding 3 meters, glide effortlessly over the waves. They use dynamic soaring to ride wind currents, conserving energy as they traverse the vast Atlantic in search of scattered fish or squid near the surface. When they detect prey, they adjust their course with astonishing precision, tilting their bodies and locking onto a target. A sudden drop, wings tucked, streamlined body, and the albatross plunges like an arrow, claws extended to seize a fleeing fish before it escapes back into the blue. Shearwaters employ a different approach, zigzagging low over the water, barely skimming the crests of the waves. Their technique is one of endurance and persistence, following schools of small pelagic fish, shadowing the movements of mid-level predators such as tuna and barracuda. As the fish scatter under pressure, the shearwaters strike, exploiting the chaos created by their aquatic counterparts. They are opportunists, thriving in a world where timing, observation, and patience dictate success. Gannets, the acrobats of the seabird world, combine aerial agility with raw precision. From dozens of meters above the waves, they detect their target and dive in a spectacular maneuver, their bodies piercing the water with incredible force. The footage captures the explosion of spray as a gannet disappears into a school of sardines, emerging moments later with a writhing fish firmly held in its beak. Each dive is a display of calculation and bravery, a brief but violent contest with the speed and unpredictability of the prey. These birds do more than hunt. They maintain the balance of Atlantic life. By feeding on schools of fish, scavenging the remains of larger predators, or hunting squid near the surface, they influence the distribution and behavior of fish. Their presence can force fish into tighter schools, create escape patterns that feed other predators, or clean up fragments that would otherwise go uneaten, linking air and sea in a complex web of ecological interaction. Migration defines much of their existence. Albatrosses travel thousands of kilometers in seasonal journeys, moving with the winds and following the shifting availability of food. Shearwaters cross entire ocean basins, facing storms, predators, and exhaustion in an unrelenting pursuit of survival. Each season, these journeys repeat, connecting breeding grounds, feeding areas, and the currents that shape Atlantic productivity. From above, the Atlantic reveals itself not as a flat expanse of blue, but as a theater of action, strategy, and life. Birds dive, plunge, and pursue in precise patterns, each of their movements intertwined with those of fish and the mid-level predators below. In the heights above the waves, the hunters of the air remind us that survival in the Atlantic is not confined to its depths. Every layer, every angle, Every vantage point plays a role in the eternal and awe-inspiring drama of life. Along the edge of the vast Atlantic expanse, life pulses with a rhythm that is both visible and audible. Dolphins, seals, and walruses move through shallow coastal waters and the open sea, their presence a testament to intelligence, adaptability, and social cohesion. Unlike solitary hunters, these mammals rely on coordination, communication, and strategy to survive in a world dominated by speed, strength, and unpredictability. Dolphins are masters of collaboration. Groups glide through the waves in perfect formation, scanning the water for the shimmer of a school of fish or the subtle disturbance of a lurking predator. When they find prey, the hunt becomes a display of teamwork. Dolphins split into flanking groups, surrounding their target to tighten the perimeter. Using a combination of echolocation clicks and whistles, they coordinate movement with near telepathic precision. The fish scatter in confusion, and one by one, individuals are driven toward shallow waters, where dolphins can strike with efficiency and speed. Every movement is choreographed, a dynamic interplay of instinct, communication, and experience. Seals, by contrast, navigate the Atlantic as both predators and prey. Agile and buoyant, they hunt smaller fish and squid, but always remain aware of larger shadows beneath the waves, sharks, orcas, and other apex hunters. The footage captures their graceful arcs through the water as they evade capture, twisting and diving with astonishing reflexes. Along rocky coastlines, they haul out to rest while remaining alert, eyes scanning for potential threats. Each escape is a blend of timing, skill, and luck, a fleeting window between survival and death. Walruses, though less agile in open waters, display a different form of intelligence. In shallow coastal regions, they forage in groups, using their tusks to dig for mollusks on the ocean floor. Cooperation ensures that even the largest and slowest members of the herd gain access to food, while vigilance against polar sharks or orcas maintains the balance between sustenance and safety. Their communication grunts, bellows, and subtle physical signals reinforces social bonds, ensuring cohesion among family units. Seasonal migrations further define their lives. Dolphins and seals travel hundreds of kilometers, moving with changes in temperature, prey availability, and reproductive cycles. Walruses follow similar patterns, traveling between feeding grounds and resting sites, with routes dictated by currents, ice flows, and seasonal changes. These migrations not only provide access to vital resources, but also expose the mammals to new encounters with predators, requiring constant adaptation. Both in shallow coastal waters and in the open ocean, the dynamic between predator and prey shapes behavior. Dolphins drive schools of fish toward the surface, inadvertently creating feeding opportunities for seabirds above. Seals, fleeing from sharks, disturb smaller fish, which in turn attract barracudas or tuna. Each level of interaction resonates throughout the Atlantic, linking mammals, fish, and birds in a complex and interconnected web of life. From breaching dolphins to evading seals, the marine mammals of the Atlantic embody intelligence, cooperation, and resilience. They navigate danger and opportunity with calculated precision, each movement a lesson in strategy and survival. Through seasons, currents, and open waters, these creatures remind us that in the Atlantic, strength alone does not dictate survival. Wisdom, coordination, and awareness are just as vital as speed and power. Throughout the sunlit, shallow waters of the Atlantic, coral reefs emerge as underwater cities, their intricate structures teeming with life. Branching corals, massive brain coral formations, and hidden crevices create a labyrinth of refuge and opportunity. Within these vibrant landscapes, Predator and prey coexist in a delicate balance, each movement a calculated negotiation between survival and sustenance. Moray eels lurk within narrow fissures, their serpentine bodies barely visible until a flash of teeth or a sudden lunge signals an attack. With lightning-fast reflexes, they bite unsuspecting fish that venture too close, disappearing back into their coral shelters before their own predators can detect them. Barracudas patrol the reef edges, their bodies gleaming silver against the dappled light. They move in sudden, precise bursts, striking small fish darting among the corals, the chaos of the school providing both opportunity and challenge. Reef sharks, smaller than their open ocean relatives but no less formidable, glide effortlessly over coral slopes. Their streamlined bodies allow them to navigate tight spaces, weaving through coral formations with controlled force. Close-up shots capture teeth slicing through water, fins tracing arcs, and sudden ambushes as the shark seizes prey in moments of swift and terrifying efficiency. Each predator here relies on camouflage, speed, and acute sensory perception, exploiting the reef's complexity to hunt with advantage. Prey species are equally adapted to this dynamic environment. Small damselfish dart among branches, neon flashes signaling alarms to others. Parrotfish graze on coral, but their movements are deliberate and cautious, avoiding shadows that hint at predators above or below. Schooling behavior is common. Dense groups of small fish twist and swirl like living silver clouds, confusing hunters and creating fleeting opportunities for escape. Crustaceans, snails, and other invertebrates retreat into corners and ledges, relying on the reef's physical structure for protection against the constant threat of predation. The structure of the reef itself is essential for survival. Coral not only provides shelter, but also hunting grounds. Predators use crevices to hide before ambushing prey, while smaller fish navigate tunnels and ledges to avoid capture. Every coral branch and cavern is both refuge and stage for interaction, shaping the rhythms of feeding, resting, and movement. The footage highlights this interaction. A barracuda stalking a school of fish along a coral ridge, a moray eel lunging from a hidden crack, and small fish threading through openings with astonishing precision. Seasonal storms and tidal changes further influence behavior. During high tide, predators can access previously unreachable shallow flats, hunting juvenile fish or crustaceans that venture beyond the deeper reef. Storms stir up sediment, temporarily clouding visibility and altering hunting strategies. Predators rely on heightened senses, vibrations, and electroreception to detect prey. Fish, in turn, adjust by seeking deeper crevices or moving into protected lagoons. These rhythmic changes, dictated by weather and ocean currents, add complexity to reef life, ensuring that survival is never static and that adaptation is constant. In the shallow Atlantic reefs, life is a vivid tapestry of color, movement, and tension. Predator and prey are locked in an eternal dance, each action countered by another, each survival strategy tested by the environment itself. Coral reefs are not merely habitats, they are the lifeblood of coastal ecosystems, shaping behaviors, sustaining populations, and providing the stage for countless encounters that define life beneath the waves. Here, in these sunlit corridors of water and stone, the Atlantic reveals its complexity, its fragility, and its endless capacity for both beauty and danger. Across the vast expanse of the Atlantic, invisible highways stretch along currents, temperature gradients, and nutrient-rich waters. Along these routes, countless species embark on epic journeys, driven by instinct, necessity, and the relentless pulse of survival. Whales, sharks, tuna, and sea turtles travel thousands of kilometers, following the rhythms of the ocean in search of food, breeding grounds, and safer refuges. Each migration a testament to endurance, intelligence, and adaptation. Whales lead these journeys with majestic authority. Groups of humpbacks rise and fall with the waves, their bodies emerging from the surface in synchronized arcs, tails striking the water in rhythm with their movements. Underwater shots reveal entire groups gliding effortlessly below, their massive forms moving in perfect coordination, communicating with clicks and songs that travel vast distances. Migration is essential. Feeding grounds in cold, nutrient-rich waters provide sustenance, while warm tropical waters offer safe birthing areas for the next generation. Each movement is calculated, each detour costly, and the route is etched into memory and instinct. Sharks also traverse the Atlantic highways. Great whites patrol coastal corridors, while tiger sharks and makos move along open water currents. Their migrations are driven by hunting, following schools of tuna, squid, or other prey. These predators track the movements of their food across thousands of kilometers. The footage captures solitary shadows cutting through sunlit waters, fins tracing arcs above the surface, predators synchronizing their movement with the ocean's invisible rhythm. These migrations are not leisurely, they are imperatives of survival, each stretch of water a corridor of opportunity and danger. Tuna, the endurance athletes of the Atlantic, migrate in massive schools, their silver bodies gleaming like liquid metal under sunlight. Currents act as guides, directing their movement and concentrating prey along predictable routes. Mid-ocean predators, from barracudas to dolphins, anticipate these routes, creating dynamic hunting grounds filled with tension and movement. Coordination within the school improves survival. The fish turn and twist like a living organism, balancing collective evasion against individual energy demands. Sea turtles, despite their slower pace, travel these highways with remarkable precision. Juveniles drift with the currents for months, relying on magnetoreception and environmental cues to reach feeding grounds. Adults undertake seasonal migrations between nesting beaches and distant feeding areas, facing predators, storms, and human threats along the way. Each turtle carries the imprint of countless previous migrations, a biological memory that guides it across the dangerous expanse of the Atlantic. The dangers along these migratory routes are constant. Predators lurk above and below, orcas follow tuna, sharks patrol corridors, and larger fish wait in hiding. Nature alone tests endurance and strategy, but human interference has introduced new dangers. Fishing nets entangle, maritime traffic disorients, and pollution creates zones of danger where survival becomes uncertain. Storms, shifting currents, and temperature anomalies further complicate the journey, demanding flexibility and resilience from every traveler. The imagery captures the drama and scale of migration, enormous schools turning and twisting, whales surfacing in rhythmic synchrony, sharks patrolling routes, and sea turtles gliding steadily through sunlit currents. These journeys are more than movement. They are lifelines. Migration ensures access to food, safety, and reproduction. It binds species, habitats, and generations into a web of interdependence that defines life across the Atlantic. The Atlantic is not just a vast ocean, it is a living highway, a corridor of endurance, strategy, and survival. Every creature that undertakes its journey contributes to the intricate balance between predator, prey, and ecosystem. Migration is a testament to the resilience of life itself, a narrative written across thousands of kilometers of water, guided by instinct, shaped by the environment, and tested by both natural and human forces. The Atlantic is a realm of constant change. Winter storms roar across its surface, hurricanes plunge entire regions into chaos, and temperature shifts ripple through its depths, altering the very fabric of life. For predators and prey alike, survival depends not only on strength or speed, but on adaptability. Each season brings new challenges, testing instinct, intelligence, and resilience. Winter storms transform the ocean into a landscape of giant waves and turbulent currents. Sharks, once gliding in measured patrols, adjust their hunting strategies, moving into deeper or calmer waters where prey is more accessible. Schools of tuna turn and swirl, navigating the chaos while avoiding exhaustion, while dolphins and orcas synchronize movements to exploit altered prey patterns. The imagery captures fins slicing through foaming waters, waves crashing with relentless force, and predators pushing through turbulence in search of opportunity. Hurricanes amplify these challenges, displacing prey and scattering schools of fish across vast distances. Predators face both risk and reward. Hunting becomes more unpredictable, though prey concentrations occasionally emerge, as the storm stirs the ocean floor or drives smaller creatures out of hidden refuges. A barracuda may surge through raging currents, eyes fixed on a silvery flash in the foaming water. A gannet may dive with precision when a storm-driven school of fish is forced toward the surface. The drama is immediate, the stakes higher, and survival depends on timing, awareness, and adaptability. Temperature changes in the Atlantic, subtle or abrupt, influence migratory behavior and predator-prey interactions. Warm currents draw certain prey species into predictable routes, while others retreat to colder depths. Sharks and tuna adjust their vertical hunting zones, exploiting layers of water where prey concentrates. Orcas and dolphins follow these movements, their intelligence and communication allowing them to track the shifting distribution of prey across hundreds of kilometers. Even the giants of the deep respond to temperature gradients, altering hunting depth and metabolic activity to conserve energy. Predators also employ seasonal strategies to maximize survival. Reef sharks retreat into protective coral canyons during turbulent periods, while barracudas hunt along sheltered slopes where fish temporarily gather. Dolphins take advantage of eddies and surface swells to herd fish, using environmental turbulence to their advantage. Each adaptation demonstrates remarkable flexibility, an understanding, however instinctive, that survival requires responding to a world in constant motion. The visual narrative emphasizes the intensity of these seasonal changes: giant waves, darkened skies, and fins gleaming as they cut through chaotic waters. Schools of fish turn and swirl, moving as one to evade predators, while hunting techniques shift, evolve, and adapt to the whims of the Atlantic. Predation is never static. It is shaped by weather, currents, and temperature as much as by the hunter's skill. In this ever-changing theater, the Atlantic teaches a fundamental lesson. Survival is never guaranteed. Strength, speed, and strategy are vital, but adaptability and awareness define those who endure. Every storm, every temperature shift, every hurricane reinforces the relentless pressure of life in the Atlantic, reminding us that the ocean is not just a stage for action, but a dynamic, living force that shapes every predator, every prey, and every interaction within its depths. In the Atlantic, survival is not only a matter of strength and cunning, it begins long before the first hunt, in the delicate and dangerous stages of life itself. Across the ocean, the next generation of predators and prey emerges, and each species employs strategies refined over millennia to ensure that life continues, despite the relentless dangers of the deep. Sharks, ancient and formidable, give birth to their young in ways as unique as their species. Many are ovoviviparous, Embryos develop within eggs that hatch inside the mother's body, and she releases fully formed young into the world. The imagery captures sleek young sharks emerging into open waters, immediately alert to the shadows around them. The Atlantic is a classroom of danger for these newborn hunters. Every movement matters, every flick of the tail is a step towards survival. Nursery areas, often shallow bays or protected reefs, provide temporary refuge, allowing young sharks to grow while avoiding larger predators that patrol the open waters. Whales, gentle giants of the ocean, take a different approach. Mothers carry their young for months, nurturing them until they are ready to enter ocean currents. Once born, the calf stays close, feeding from the mother while learning the skills needed to navigate predators, currents, and feeding opportunities. Groups act as extended families, offering protection and guidance. Aerial imagery shows a mother whale surfacing with her calf at her side, the young creature imitating every movement, learning to surface, dive, and breathe rhythmically, while siblings and relatives patrol nearby. These first months are critical, the foundation of survival built on care, observation, and trust. Even the elusive giants of the deep, colossal and giant squids, engage in intricate reproductive strategies. Females deposit clusters of eggs in hidden chambers of deep waters, where oxygen-rich currents provide a safe refuge. Juvenile squids hatch fully capable of navigating the dark waters, relying on instinct, camouflage, and bioluminescent countermeasures to evade predators from their earliest moments. Their survival depends not on parental care, but on evolutionary adaptations finely tuned for life in one of the ocean's most hostile environments. Across all species, the survival of the young is a daily contest. Juveniles that gather in groups imitate adults, learning to evade predators and exploit food sources. Seabirds and mid-level fish teach by example. Dolphins guide their young in hunting strategies, while seals show juveniles safe routes along coastal waters. Every predator represents a threat to the inexperienced. Sharks hunt fish, orcas test young dolphins, and even large seabirds can snatch offspring near the surface. In this crucible, the earliest lessons of awareness, agility, and instinct make the difference between life and death. The imagery emphasizes this delicate balance. Schools of juveniles darting in synchronized patterns, mother whales guiding their calves, and young sharks navigating reef labyrinths, all under the watchful gaze of the Atlantic's predators. The ocean is both cradle and crucible, offering opportunity while demanding vigilance. In the struggle to raise the next generation, every creature demonstrates the resilience, adaptability, and ingenuity that define life in the Atlantic, ensuring that the rhythm of survival continues through another cycle of birth, growth, and eventual mastery of the ocean's relentless challenges. In the greatest depths of the Atlantic, sunlight fades into darkness, leaving a world where vision alone is not enough to survive. In this abyss, life has developed an extraordinary tool: bioluminescence. From glowing squids to phosphorescent fish, light becomes both weapon and shield, guiding predators, confusing prey, and enabling communication in the black void of the deep. Giant squids use flashes of pale light along their arms and bodies, illuminating prey before striking with tentacles that appear almost ghost-like in the dark water. Small fish take advantage of reflective scales, scattering light in a dazzling display that creates illusions of larger schools or masks their approach. Predators and prey engage in a silent, luminous battle where a flash or a glow can mean the difference between life and death. Submersible imagery reveals these encounters in haunting detail: tentacles wrapping around luminous bodies, jaws closing in the glow, and shadows moving like specters in a dark and endless theater. Camouflage in the deep relies heavily on the manipulation of light. Many midwater fish use counter-illumination, emitting light from the underside of their bodies to match the faint glow above, becoming nearly invisible to predators below. A shark or hunting squid looking upward may see only the dim outline of the water, with prey perfectly blended into its surroundings. This sophisticated adaptation allows species to move, hunt, and evade with remarkable precision, maintaining the balance between predator and prey in a realm dominated by darkness. Communication is another vital function of bioluminescence. Squids and deep-sea fish use pulses, flashes, and color changes to signal others of their kind. Mating, territorial disputes, and coordinated hunting strategies are facilitated by these luminous messages. A fleeting flash may summon a mate, warn a rival, or coordinate a sudden attack on prey, all while remaining nearly invisible to larger predators. In this way, light becomes language, an essential tool in a world where sound and vision are limited by water and distance. The importance of bioluminescence extends beyond hunting and communication. It shapes entire ecosystems. Species that produce light influence, prey behavior, predator movement, and even migratory patterns. Schools of luminescent fish can attract larger predators, while glowing squids create a pulsating display that drives smaller creatures into feeding traps. Each flash is a strategic choice, a survival decision embedded in evolution. The visual narrative emphasizes the surreal beauty of this hidden world. Glowing appendages winding through dark water, fish flickering like stars across the abyss, and sudden eruptions of light when predator and prey meet. In the depths of the Atlantic, light is both fragile and powerful, a silent weapon, a shield, and a lifeline. Life here depends on interpreting and manipulating it with a skill refined over millions of years. Bioluminescence is more than a visual spectacle. It is the language, the strategy, and the essence of life in the hidden depths of the Atlantic. In a realm where darkness dominates, those who master the glow survive, and those who fail are quickly swallowed by the shadows, leaving only faint, fading traces of light in the endless blackness. Across the Atlantic, the rhythm of the ocean has long been dictated by currents, predators, and prey. But increasingly, another force shapes life beneath the waves. Human beings. From industrial fishing to pollution and climate change, our influence penetrates even the most remote depths, altering behaviors, threatening survival, and reshaping the balance of this vast ecosystem. Fisheries represent one of the most direct human pressures on the Atlantic. Nets stretch across miles of water, invisible traps for both target species and unintended victims of bycatch. Tuna, which once roamed freely along migratory corridors, now face capture mid-journey, their numbers declining and their schools fragmenting. Sharks, often caught accidentally, face population declines that ripple through the food chain, leaving gaps that alter predator-prey dynamics. The images show abandoned nets tangled in reefs, glinting under sunlight like silent traps, the remnants of an industry that harvests efficiently but leaves devastation in its wake. Plastic pollution is another insidious threat. Bottles, bags, and microplastics drift in the currents, invisible to many predators but deadly when ingested. Sea turtles mistake floating debris for jellyfish, while seabirds collect plastics from the surface and feed them to their young. Fish consume microplastics, transferring toxins up the food chain to dolphins, whales, and even humans. The chemical sheen of oil spills coats the surface, suffocating smaller organisms and disrupting plankton blooms that form the base of the Atlantic's complex web of life. These pollutants, often invisible at first glance, accumulate slowly, weakening populations, reducing reproductive success and increasing mortality among species. Shipping routes and human traffic introduce another disturbance. Migratory whales and dolphins must navigate dense networks of vessels, facing collisions or acoustic interference that hinders communication and coordination. Mid-level predators, such as tuna and barracudas, adjust their migratory routes, altering their feeding patterns to avoid disturbances, while seabirds are forced to hunt in more dangerous and less productive areas. Human presence imposes a subtle but persistent stress, creating cascading effects that reach every corner of the Atlantic ecosystem. Climate change intensifies these pressures. Rising ocean temperatures alter prey availability, force predators to shift to new regions, and disrupt reproduction and migration patterns. Hurricanes and storms, intensified by warmer seas, create unpredictable hunting conditions and displace species from traditional habitats. Deep-sea environments, once relatively stable, are affected by declining oxygen levels and acidification, challenging even the most resilient Atlantic giants. The cumulative effect of human activity is a profound reconfiguration of predator-prey dynamics in the Atlantic. Apex predators may encounter prey shortages, mid-level hunters must navigate new dangers, and prey species face both environmental stress and human exploitation. Every interaction is altered, every survival strategy recalibrated, and the intricate web that has existed for millennia begins to falter under pressure. The images underscore these impacts: plastics drifting among schools of fish, seabirds scavenging in polluted waters, oil-covered waves reflecting the sun, and fishing vessels cutting through once pristine migratory corridors. The Atlantic remains vast, beautiful, and alive, and yet its pulse is increasingly measured against human influence. Predators still hunt, prey still flee, and life continues. But survival now carries a new weight shaped by human beings, testing the resilience and adaptability of every species in the boundless heart of the ocean. Amid the growing pressures of human activity, a concerted effort has emerged to safeguard Atlantic predators and preserve the delicate balance of life beneath its waves. Marine protected areas, shark sanctuaries, and research initiatives have become lifelines, offering refuge, monitoring populations, and fostering understanding of these complex ecosystems. These interventions demonstrate both the promise and the challenge of conservation in an ocean so vast, unpredictable, and relentless. Marine protected areas serve as sanctuaries where predators and prey can interact without human interference. Sharks, orcas, and tuna move freely, while fish populations regenerate, breeding grounds thrive, and reef ecosystems recover. The images capture tranquil expanses of protected waters, where predators patrol hunting grounds with relative safety, and juvenile fish dart among flourishing corals, with markedly improved survival rates. Scientists aboard research vessels monitor these populations using tagging programs and acoustic tracking to understand migratory patterns, hunting behavior, and social interactions. Each tag, each data point, contributes to a broader understanding of how the Atlantic functions and how to mitigate human impact. Shark sanctuaries, established in key regions, prohibit commercial fishing of apex predators, allowing populations to stabilize. The success of these sanctuaries is visible. Species that were once scarce now patrol coastal corridors, reclaiming their role in the food chain. Ecotourism and educational initiatives highlight these majestic hunters, fostering global awareness while incentivizing local communities to protect rather than exploit. Rehabilitation programs further demonstrate human commitment. Injured or displaced marine mammals and sea turtles are treated, cared for, and returned to the wild, often with tagging devices to monitor their survival after release. Aerial and underwater images capture the triumphant moments of release. Dolphins diving into open waters, turtles gliding steadily into the currents, and whales returning to migratory routes. Despite these successes, challenges persist. Enforcement across the Atlantic is difficult. Vast distances, shifting currents, and international waters complicate regulation. Poaching, illegal fishing, and pollution continue to threaten even the best protected areas. Climate change introduces additional unpredictability, altering prey distribution and pushing predators into human-occupied zones. Conservation is not a static solution. It is an ongoing, adaptive effort requiring cooperation among governments, scientists, and local communities. The giants of the Atlantic, however, continue to inspire hope. Through protection, research, and careful intervention, their populations are showing signs of resilience. Images of thriving predator-prey interactions in marine sanctuaries illustrate the potential for balance when human management aligns with the rhythm of nature. These efforts remind us that even the largest and most powerful creatures of the Atlantic depend on careful stewardship and collective responsibility. Conservation is both a challenge and a testament to human ingenuity, acting as guardians rather than intruders. In the Atlantic, every sanctuary, every release, and every data point represents a lifeline, an opportunity for predators, prey, and ecosystems to endure, evolve, and thrive in a world increasingly shaped by human hands. The Atlantic stretches endlessly, a living expanse where sunlight dances upon the waves and darkness conceals worlds yet unseen. At dawn, the horizon ignites with amber and gold, illuminating the restless surface where life unfolds in continuous and intricate motion. Predators and prey alike awaken to another day, each action choreographed by instinct, experience, and the eternal pulse of survival. A great white shark glides just beneath the surface, its dorsal fin cutting through the shimmering water with silent authority. Nearby, a school of mackerel flashes silver in synchronized panic, turning and swirling as if the ocean itself were breathing with them. Dolphins leap in rhythmic arcs, groups moving as a single organism, herding fish with an intelligence that seems almost human in its precision. Orcas surface in slow and deliberate synchrony, their group strategies reflecting generations of learned coordination, while seabirds wheel overhead, scanning the sea for flashes that betray the presence of prey below. In the depths, bioluminescent squid glow like ghostly stars, their pulsing light reflecting in curious eyes and alerting both predators and prey to the delicate interplay of survival. Giant squid glide through the black water with silent grace, tentacles poised to strike, their alien forms a testament to adaptation in a world where light is scarce and danger is constant. Even the smallest creatures play their part. Juvenile fish dart and zigzag, young sea turtles slip into the currents, and tiny crustaceans vanish into coral refuges, each movement a subtle brushstroke in the grand painting of life. Above and below, the Atlantic is a theatre of endless contrasts. Storms turn the waves into chaotic turmoil, hurricanes churn the waters into dramatic upheaval, and yet life continues, adapting, enduring. Currents carry migratory whales, tuna, and sea turtles along invisible highways, linking ecosystems, predators, and prey in a dynamic network that spans thousands of kilometers. Each season, each tide, each shift in temperature reshapes the rules of survival, and yet balance endures, a fragile and beautiful equilibrium that has persisted for millennia. Conservation efforts now intervene, offering sanctuaries and protection, giving sharks, whales and turtles the opportunity to reclaim their roles as rulers of the Atlantic. Marine reserves flourish, tagging programs track migrations, and rehabilitation programs return injured animals to freedom. The images capture the triumph of release: turtles gliding into open waters, dolphins racing through sunlit waves, and whales rising toward the horizon, each a living testament to human stewardship aligned with nature. As the sun rises fully, casting a warm glow over the undulating waves, the Atlantic reveals itself in all its majesty: predator and prey, hunter and hunted, giant and small, all part of a grand narrative of life and survival. From the smaller schooling fish to the immense apex predators, every creature contributes to the rhythm of the ocean, to its resilience, and to its astonishing complexity. In these waters, every shadow, every fin, every flash of light is a story of survival, a testament to the relentless will of life. The Atlantic endures, as do its rulers and its prey. It is a world of beauty, danger, and remarkable ingenuity, a living, pulsing ocean where life persists against all odds, reminding us of the extraordinary balance and determination that define the natural world. The Atlantic is a world of immense power and delicate balance, and yet it is not untouched by humanity. Our presence has left indelible marks, some subtle, others catastrophic, reshaping predator-prey relationships and challenging the survival strategies of countless species. Overfishing has reduced schools of tuna, sardines, and other mid-level predators, creating cascading effects that reach the apex hunters of these waters. Sharks, which once roamed vast migratory corridors freely, now face population declines, and prey species, deprived of natural controls, sometimes overpopulate or alter their behavior in unexpected ways. Every netcast, every line set, brings consequences that extend far beyond the immediate catch. Climate change adds another layer of pressure. Rising ocean temperatures, acidification, and shifting currents influence breeding grounds, prey availability, and migratory routes. Predators that depend on precise timing, coordination, and the rhythm of the Atlantic must adapt or perish. Hurricanes and storms grow more intense, disrupting hunting grounds and displacing both prey and predators. Even deep-sea species, long considered isolated from surface changes, are affected by declining oxygen and subtle shifts in water chemistry. Humanity's footprint, though often invisible, permeates every depth. And yet, amid these challenges, there are glimmers of hope. Marine protected areas, shark sanctuaries, and rehabilitation programs demonstrate that careful management can reverse some of the damage. Populations of certain species have stabilized, reefs show signs of recovery, and research efforts provide invaluable knowledge to guide future protection. Tagging programs, reproductive interventions, and community-led conservation remind us that human ingenuity can complement natural resilience when applied responsibly. Even so, the Atlantic retains its mysteries. Many deep-sea predators remain elusive, their behaviors largely undocumented, their survival strategies largely unknown. Each discovery underscores both the fragility and resilience of these ecosystems and the profound responsibility we have to preserve them. Reflecting on our influence, it becomes clear that respect is paramount. The ocean is not a resource to be dominated, but a living system to be understood and protected. Every action, fishing, navigation, or pollution carries consequences that extend across kilometers and decades. By embracing both knowledge and humility, humanity has the power to ensure that the Atlantic continues to thrive, that its predators continue to hunt, and that the intricate ballet of survival beneath its waves endures for generations to come. The Atlantic challenges us to observe, to learn, and to act, not as conquerors, but as guardians of one of the most extraordinary and mysterious ecosystems on the planet. But what do you think?